night. Many of you might have preferred to go out for a walk or something, but I'm so glad you're here. We've had two presentations prior to this. The first one was on our electric department. The second one was about our water and sewer departments. And this one is everything else, is what we're calling it. This is your police and fire protection. This is your mowing and plowing, sidewalks, roads, building permits, everything else. And the difference is that everything you're going to hear about tonight is paid for by your village taxes. So if you've ever wondered, what are they using my tax money for? I think you might be surprised at all of the things that we have to do. So tonight, we're going to have a series of people making their presentations. We're going to start out with Tom Pasella, who is our Director of Municipal Operations. And then we go to Scott Hagelke, who's up here in front. He is our Chief of Police. And Scott is someone who really believes in community policing. He's established a wonderful relationship with the school, which is very important. He's involved with the Chamber of Commerce and the local businesses. So he is touching, lots of different aspects of the community. Then we have Lori Walter, who's our village clerk administrator. And Lori is a go-to person for employees, for managers, for residents. She wears many, many hats. Next, we have Pat McDonald sitting back there. Pat is very new to our staff. He's working in the codes office, busily taking courses to become a certified code enforcement officer. Our plan is that Pat will get himself educated, finish his training, and work in the codes office, shadow John Crump, and in a couple of years when John retires, Pat will be ready to move into that position as our full-time code enforcement officer. And last but certainly not least is Pete Bueller. Pete's another one that wears a lot of hats, but he is our fire chief primarily. Some of our little people in the community know him as a crossing guard at the State Street School, but most of his time is spent responding to fire calls. So each one of these people will make a brief presentation about their department, and then at the end, we'll answer questions about anything you've heard or any questions you have. So we'll start with our Director of Municipal Operations, Tom Pasella.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you all for coming. This is an amazing turnout, and I'm excited to share all that we do here in municipal operations, and specifically the DPW. I want to acknowledge a few of my supporters, my liaison to the village board, and your trustee Ed Evans in the back of the room. Our chair of our municipal board, Kevin Green, and Mary Ellen next to him, and Tom Malone next to Ed. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your support. I want to start here. So we're going to do some introductions. My team is here. I'd like to introduce you to the guys that keep this place going really well. And then we'll cover the areas of responsibility. I tried to figure out how best to show you what we do here. And I think I got it basically by quarter. So we'll go into the seasonal tasks quarter by quarter throughout the year. And then just a brief slide on what our future needs are. I could go on and on about future needs, but we've got others that you want to hear today. So I want to start by introducing our assistant superintendent, the gentleman who has been up all winter long at 1:30 in the morning, making sure the roads are ready for everyone, and then calling in team as needed, and texting me, thankfully. Eric Sell, our assistant superintendent. To his right is Rob Fertino. Rob joined us about 4 months ago. months ago?
Yeah.
Okay, somewhere in there. Bob is one of our maintenance technician operators at the DPW. To Eric's left is Kevin. Kevin joined us about 2 months ago, just about. And our longstanding DPW, the guy that everybody asks questions to, is Mike Dries. And everybody knows Mike Dries, right? Who doesn't know Mike Dries? People I bump into in Chittenango know Mike Dries. And behind him, our Assistant Superintendent of Sewers, Water, Wastewater, Seth Kiefer. Seth has also helped keep the roads clean this winter, as we've gotten a real winter for a change, right? We plowed 25 out of 31 days in January this year. And Mary just said we're getting a nor'easter in 2 weeks. I'm just telling you. So this is our team. I introduced you to them. This is all of municipal operations. For those of you that haven't seen, we're responsible for electric, and we have four staff there, 3 qualified line workers and an apprentice. And then our water sewer in the middle, under Seth as the assistant superintendent. Jim Dries, Mike's brother, has been here for another 20 years, another seasoned veteran, valuable employee, valuable knowledge, knows all about the sewers, the water, and the electric. So that's our team. I can't not mention our seasonal help and our summer help. We can't mow the lawns and take care of the cemetery and keep up with the parks without seasonal help. Those guys and gals work really hard. They do anything we ever ask them, anything from lawn mowing to picking up sticks to helping with brush. In the fall, they're out there picking up leaves with us. Up at the cemetery, they're helping with foundations. They're a huge asset, and we're looking for them. So if you know anybody that's 18 or older looking for summer help, we pay well, it's outside, and we're pretty good. We eat a lot of donuts in the DPW. So this is me. I'm Tom Pasala. Unfortunately, I don't feel too bad for him, but Cosmo's on his way back from Turks and Caicos. Actually, he's probably in flight right now. I come here after 20-something years at Monroe County. I have a bachelor's degree in engineering, civil and environmental engineering. I wanted to get into structural analysis. I ended up getting into water and sewer because that was the only job that was available. Fell in love with it, stayed there. But my background is in municipal operations. That's what I love to do. I love to be out in the field, working with people, getting in a loader, getting stuck in the cemetery, things like that. So what do we do around the village? I like to tell people when they ask, if you can think about it, we probably handle it in the DPW. We're responsible for all the village roads. We're responsible to repair all the sidewalks. We do plow the sidewalks as a courtesy, but we do repair them and try to keep them safe for walking. We manage and take care of a variety of parks around the village. Cemeteries, yes, I said cemeteries. There's 2. We have a little one up on Benson Road that we help take care of. We do building maintenance and repairs around all of the municipal buildings in the village as needed. And we are also supportive of our electric, water, sewer staff. Police when they need something, the fire department if they need something, codes. We try to work together and help each other out. So first quarter 1, January, February, March. Obviously, the first priority is snow operations. In snow operations, our roads and our parking lots are our first priority. Our downtown sidewalks second, our uptown sidewalks third, and cemetery if we have time. We usually just do the loop. We do cemetery burials every quarter, all year round. I don't think in the 4 years I've been here, we've had ground conditions that prohibited that. So we almost always bury folks in the cemetery for funeral. We do a lot of memorial bench refurbishments. Those are the decorative ones, the ones that are dedicated with the little gold plaques on them, the really nice looking ones. We take them into the shop, take them apart, sand them all down, restain them, and put them all back together. How many do we do? We do probably a dozen some a winter, more?
25, 30.
25, 30.
many as I can.
Winter events, you'll see the picture here. I put that in there because this year, we probably took 2 days of cleaning snow just to get the tent in, to make room for the sculptures, to make room to get down the ramp and into the ice for those that wanted to jump in. So we do support the Winterfest, the Polar Plunge, and a variety of other events around the village. But in Q1, those are the two main ones. We do a lot of our vehicle maintenance and equipment maintenance in the winter when we have time and we're not pushing snow around or cleaning it out of the parking lots. That's everything. All the vehicles, all the snow equipment, or the lawn equipment. We try to do our building maintenance, and we still do weekly trash pickups every week, multiple times a week. We kind of don't do as many on the weekends other than events, but it's still weekly, 3 times a week at least for trash pickups. Q2, we start in April, maybe a little earlier now that the weather's a little break for us, but we try to do winter road and lawn repairs. We start with park maintenance, picking up sticks, cleaning up, picking up trash that's kind of blown around from the winds, weeding, trimming, getting ready for planting, getting ready to mulch everything. We start with fountain maintenance, and we do a startup closer to Memorial Day, kind of mid-Q2. We start with cemetery cleanup in the spring, both just miscellaneous stuff, sticks and whatever's blowing around there, but we also start with the decorations too. If folks aren't picking them up in time, we pull them out ourselves so that we can get in there and really clean the cemetery. We start cemetery foundations and markers so that we're ready for Memorial Day, and again, burials. So we start with street sweeping as early as we can, but definitely by April, May. And then I put this on there, we actually start spring brush in April. Q2 is a very, very busy time for us, so we do a lot of the Memorial Day preparations. That's a picture of us planting flowers by the flagpole. By that point, Memorial Day, the park's pretty much cleaned up, all the mulch is in, all the beds have been weeded and mulched. We do open the gazebo bathrooms. Those aren't opened up, there's no heat in there, so we don't open those up until we're sure we're not going to get any freezing temperatures. We do some preparation for graduation. We start with our stump grinding and then clean up after the stump grinding. I've got about a dozen stumps already that we've got to get done in the spring. We do striping for the crosswalks in the parking lots and parking spots up and down Genesee Street. We also do the village landscaping and maintenance at the village office and the police office, and then we try to get in there at some point some of the planned projects that we try to wait till spring to do. Q3, July, August, September, we continue with our street sweeping. We try to get out there and fix a lot of those catch basins and manholes, clean them out, take the old grates off, repair the catch basin, put new grates on, restore around there so they're not depressed and sinking in. We continue with park maintenance. That's where our summer helpers really help. They get out there to do the mowing and the trimming and some of the weeding. We try to get the sidewalk repairs done and the street repairs. We've got a couple of sewers that we dug this year that we're going to have to get out and fix. That's the time of year we do that. Again, continue with headstone and foundation burials, miscellaneous events for those quarters. Everybody knows the curbstone, the boat show, the car show, and weekly concerts at the gazebo on Friday nights. We have a crew that comes in to set the stage and tear it down, get ready for the band, but we support them with whatever they might need. We bought the scaffolding and made sure it was safe and the railings and all that kind of stuff. We also support our great firemen for Fields Days in September. Q4, we start our fall cleanup. We usually do a few weeks of fall brush pickup before we get into the leaves. So we do a couple, 3 weeks of brush, then we jump right into the leaves. We pick up leaves for as long as we possibly can until it starts to snow. And even then, if it melts and we can pick them up and they're not frozen, we'll go out and try to grab them there's snow. This is when we really start bringing our benches in and start doing the green park benches. This year, we had the green park benches done, and we painted a bunch of the green trash cans that you see around the park. We start our equipment maintenance, bring in the lawnmowers, take the decks off, clean everything, change the oil, change the filters, make sure they're ready for spring. We do a few last rounds of street sweeping, and then most of the contractors we deal with for doing some of the big pruning projects like to do that with the leaves off the trees. So once the leaves start falling, we start doing some of the tree pruning and removals. It's just a little less messy. And then to round out the year, we do the holiday decorations for the Dickens and Christmas. We do village events like the Fall Fest and Veterans Day. Snow starts when it starts. We're usually ready by October-ish for snow. Snow preparation and operations, always a priority. If it snows, that's our first thing. That's what we take care of. Park winterization. We have to winterize the gazebo and shut the restrooms down. We do that at the cemetery. We take the water main out of service, blow all the air through it so we don't lose any water services. And then the fountain, we winterize the fountain at Shotwell Park. Cemetery fall cleanups, we take all the summer decorations, all the leaves, there's a ton of leaves at the cemetery. We clean all that up if we can. We didn't quite get to it this year, so if you drive up to the cemetery like I did today, you'll see a lot of leaves. And then, again, maintenance of the cemetery equipment, because we're probably done mowing by October, November. So that's it in a nutshell, 4 quarters. It's a lot of work. These guys work incredibly hard. I can't say enough about how hard they work, how great they work. This is a fairly young team with Kevin and Robert joining us, but I've really enjoyed watching them all gel together, work together, help each other out, communicate. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and I think they'll all agree. It's been a tough winter, but it's been a good winter too. They've really worked well together.
And he's bought a lot of donuts this year.
We have had a lot of donuts. Jackie used the button on me. The future needs, again, I just highlighted a few things. There's a lot of things in the village that we could be talking about. My goal is to kind of get us all set for the future. But some future needs, we definitely have some road reconstruction and resurfacing that we need to do. Shotwell Park, if you go down there, you'll see the start of some of the masonry, some of the mortar between the stone falling out. It's important to get that back in there and get that back in there correctly. Not just some mortar you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or someplace and just stuff it back in there. Find the right mortar, the right mix, get the right tool, and make it and restore it so it looks like it was built that way. The gazebo bathrooms need renovation. We need some emergency generators. We need one at the DPW. We need one over at the village office. We need some renovations and maintenance at the DPW. We're talking about garage doors that actually close and don't leak. Some that are actually going to work for us. Things like that. Equipment needs and replacements. You might have noticed, maybe not, because these guys did an amazing job. But I think January-ish, one of the big storms in January, the big plow truck, which is that size, not the one, but it's that size, went down on us. The exhaust system was an aftermarket exhaust system because of the regulations for diesel exhaust, and we had to order it, had it come in. It was down for a little over a month, and we ended up plowing with a much smaller piece of equipment most of January and into early February. So we definitely have equipment needs. Seth and Eric just went up to the North Country to look at our new plow truck that we ordered in 2023. With a little bit of luck, we'll get that in June, right in time for summer. And then for those of us that have been up in the cemetery a lot, the roads need help. So that's a lot just on that slide, and Eric's got another 4 pages of stuff that we've got to plan out over the next 10 years. So that's all I have.
Thank you. The one thing you said, Tom, that really got my attention was when you said, "Oh, we just, jump into the leaves." I want to tell you, I'd love to see that. Have the guys jump into the leaves. Scott.
So you want this?
How are you? Scott Heckerke, I'm the chief of police. I've been here since July of 2020. Mike Strangeway is our lieutenant, so he's essentially the second in command. He's here today. Mike and I have both been in the business a long time. I don't like to use that terminology, but between the two of us, we're close to 75 years of experience. And with the agency, we have some part-timers, and we got a lot of experience with the guys that are here. So we're going to talk, there's only 3 little bullet points we're going to talk about. And that's our goals is 24-hour coverage. From the police department, that's really kind of our simplest goal, is they have somebody working 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We don't always accomplish that just because we have staffing issues. Staffing issues amongst the police industry are very critical at this time. The fire department will tell you the same thing. So then we work towards that. We constantly look for people, find. Years ago, we could staff people with part-timers. People who are retired from police work are not coming to work part-time anymore. Those that we see that stay in the business are usually going to work in the schools and all that. So that's a little bit of a challenge. So in the past, here in the village, they had a lot of part-time employees. That just doesn't work nowadays. And we have, I attend, there's a couple of chiefs meetings where we're all a very good network together. And they're all seeing the same. I can tell you that Liverpool's having this issue, North Syracuse having the issue, where they have empty shifts, and so we do our best to fill the needs 24 hours a day. Best way to do that, more staffing. So we're constantly trying to recruit people and find people we can hire, work with the board, and try and find ways that we can fund it. We need money, obviously, for more people. We're lucky, there's 3 of us now that are full-time employees, retirees. So therefore, the village, the taxpayers don't have to pay for our medical costs, we don't have to pay for our pension costs because we come with that. So there is a benefit to hire retired police officers if we can find them. Other ways that we try and add to help to the budget, so to speak, is by finding grant money. Within the last 2 years, I think I've been able to find about $325,000 in grant money. We have 2 brand new cars, both paid with grant money, $125,000. Inside that car, our cameras, $45,000, paid with grant money. The radios, paid with grant money. Body cameras, $6,000 of the body camera expense, paid with grant money. So we will continue to try and find money that we can use to buy equipment. The village taxpayers haven't purchased a lot of the equipment that we need in the last couple of years. We've been able to get that through grant. So we'll continue to do that. So that's our big thing as far as staffing goes. Now, along with staffing, I'd like to always talk about our relationships with other agencies too. Great relationships with the state police. Great relationships with the sheriff's department. When we need them, we could call them in. We've had a couple situations. One in particular, we got some outside help with the state police because it was a serious crime. We're pretty fortunate. We don't really have a lot of serious, or we don't have a lot of crime in the village, period. So we'd like to keep it that way. Number one way that we can try and do that is just visibility. Visibility is always what our goal is. So that people see us out there, that you see us out there, that we're here in case you need us. I have an acquaintance, a friend who lives on Genesee Street. He said to me one day, he goes, did you hire a lot more people? I said, I had to keep the laugh inside. I was like, no, why? He says, well, my wife says she sees you guys out there all the time, and she really appreciates it. Well, that's what we want. We want her to see us out there and have that safe, that sense of security. Community engagement, very big on that. We love to do events with members of the community. Actually, a couple Sundays ago, we did an event, Coffee with a Cop. We had it at Clover's, and we did it with Vera House. If you're familiar with Vera House, for domestic violence, we're going to do 1 or 2 more events with Vera House, having that partnership, which is always great. With not just with law enforcement, but with those outside entities, those non-government organizations. We put out a seminar, we hosted a seminar that was actually from a person who was an actual school shooter. And we made sure we invited people from the education world and outside law enforcement and mental health professionals. We have a great relationship with mental health professionals. It wasn't long ago, actually, the lieutenant had a call for someone, and there was some mental health issues, and they were in a house. It was during the bitter cold. The house didn't have any heat, and we were able to get them connected with Helio Health. They sent on a mobile crisis team, and the crisis was averted. So very important to have those relationships, and we'll continue to do that. That's for sure. Faith and Blue is something we do with churches. We have 6 churches in the village. We've done it with all of them. We also do it with Grace Chapel out there, right across from Skanellis. What we'll do is after services, we'll go there. Faith and Blue is a national initiative by Movement Forward. It's a social justice agency out of Atlanta, Georgia, that we kind of got hooked up with. And so we've done it, all the churches. This past year, I was a little remiss with setting up the dates for us to go visit them. And the churches were reaching out to us and said, hey, when are we doing Faith and Blue? So that is a really good gauge that obviously the people enjoy it and that they've been successful. 4 years ago, we took this on, and part of it, and we would communicate with Movement Forward and tell them what we were doing and how we were doing it. And we were then invited to be part of the Law Enforcement Community Engagement Network. There was a cohort of a trial cohort of 20 agencies in the United States, and Skinny Atlas was one of them. They wanted a diverse group of agencies that they could see, hey, how does community engagement work throughout the country? They know that Skinny Atlas, not so much a diverse community, right? Maybe a little bit of money in this community, but they still want to know, does it work in Skinny Atlas as well as it works in Memphis, Tennessee? Memphis was one of those agencies. So it was it was a privilege for us to be selected as one of those 20 agencies throughout the country. The only one in New York State. We need something with TOPS. Went to TOPS Management, said, hey, we'd like to be in your vestibule on the busiest day. Just give us 2 hours what day. We came up with a Saturday. I worked with John McCaffrey, who was a regional vice VP at the time, and we developed bags. We gave away bags. And I said, this is the only thing we want to do is we want you to purchase bags for us to give away. And we said, we want the motto to be, the logo to be, Tops and Cops Care. We did. We got huge success. He was very pleased with it, worked with our counterparts, and we actually staffed 10 out of 12 top stores, not Skinny Atlas Police, but us working with our counterparts. 10 out of 12 top stores were staffed with 8 different police agencies. It was a huge community event that was, we got some very good press out of that from Channel 9 as well. Lastly, calls for assistance for police services, fire services, EMS. Please, please, please call 911. We get so many calls at the police department, and the days of 911 only being for extreme emergencies are over. When you need the police, when you need the fire department, you need EMS, just call 911. There's a tracking system involved there, so they can, then we know as far as calls for service, and then when an officer gets assigned to a call, they're required to clear that call and give a code. So it's not just for statistical purpose, it's for accountability purposes too. And of course also an emergency. Great example, and Pete will be able to give you these same examples too. Came to work on a Monday, we had at the time an answer machine at the police department, not anymore, because I got a call from a local business who said, they were outside the village, but they still called us and they said, hey, can you send somebody up here? We have a former employee who's been making threats and they're on the way up here. It was on Friday afternoon at about 5 o'clock when they made that phone call. When I got the message on Monday morning, I called and said, I just want to make sure you weren't held hostage over the weekend. You left the message on an administrative line. And the message said, this is an administrative line. Don't leave a message, call 911. That, and another one was an accident took place. Hey, I just got hit, I'm on Genesee Street, can you send somebody right away? It was the same thing, it was a Friday evening, Monday morning when we get that message, so. So we stopped, you can't leave a message to the police department anymore, because we don't want people to then say like, I called the police and they never showed up. So again, encourage your friends and family, if they need the police, they need fire, EMS, call 911. Thank you, appreciate your time.
Lori Walter.
Lori Walter. I am just going to say that I love the work I do every day. I love being here, I love the people I work with, and I just think everyone should know that. There's a lot of people in here right now that I work with, and we have a great community, great work community, great community to be in, and I have a great staff that I work with. This picture is actually from us walking to the Kelly Street Bridge opening last year. Was it last year? Year and a half ago? Almost a year and a half ago now, believe it or not. And 2 out of 3 of those staff are still with me. So we have, this is from yesterday, this is as fresh as it gets right here. In the pink, if you can see, let me see if I can point right there. That's Carrie Hanno, she's our treasurer. So she does all the accounting and all the financials for the village. Right now, we are in budget season, so you can imagine what that looks like. We have 4 funds, our general fund, electric, water, sewer, and what do I call it, water and sewer, they're all separate, yes. So she doesn't just do one budget, she does 4. Lots of fun, as you can imagine. We're also going through an audit right now, and we're doing a software conversion. We are converting our accounting software to something called Tyler Technologies. We're converting our payroll software also to Tyler, and we're converting our utility billing software starting this summer into Tyler, which the good thing is, because they're all integrated, it will hopefully cut down on Rand all the many entries she has to do in the accounting software to keep us up to date in our 4 funds. So just one quick example, somebody like Tom or even me, we're paid out of all 4 funds. So she has to do entries into all 4 funds every week when we run payroll. So Carrie is our wonderful treasurer that I am so grateful we have. Laura, who's on your left, with the brown hair, probably at some point, if you've had contact with the village office, you know who Laura is. Laura is the one that greets everyone. She welcomes them the second they walk in. She will offer you candy. If you have a look on your face because you're paying a bill, she'll say, I'll take your money and you can take a piece of chocolate, just to try to soften the blow for paying bills. She does a lot more than that too, but Laura is, what does she call herself, a princess or something? Skinny Atlas, the something. She's so glad to have her. She started in May of 23. I started in September of 21, and she's been wonderful for the office. Melissa's our newbie. She's the redhead. She joined us in December. So Shannon, who used to be with us, she left beginning of July to take the treasurer role in the town of Portlandville, which is upward movement for her, which was really great for her. I went 6 months. I learned how to do billing, and I was so happy when Melissa joined in December of just this past December. So she's now done 3 billing cycles. The utility billing process is about a 2-week process. And then it continues throughout the month because then you're accepting payments for 2 weeks and you're answering all the calls about the electric bill. So it's a pretty heavy lift to take on utility billing. And right now it's an especially heavy lift, also because of the bills right now, but because we are going through this software implementation. We had our first meeting to get ready for that on Monday, where they came in and looked at the current system and took screenshots and said, okay, how are we going to convert all of the state over? And then finally, there's me. I actually come from higher ed, project management in a small graphic design company, human services, where I wrote grants and helped implement programs like foster programs in Delaware and Florida. And somehow, when this job opened up, I said, yeah, this looks like fun. And all the experience that I had before somehow played in beautifully into this role, including a library science degree. I've never worked in a library, But records management is a huge part of the village. One of my favorite books in the village is from 1833, when the village was created. George knows the book. And when you open the cover, it's the date of incorporation and the initial articles that they wrote up in beautiful old cursive handwriting. That it's just, when I found that book, I said, this is amazing. So we have lots of old books like that, big leather binders with old minutes in it. At some point, we need to do a scan project so that we can get all of that digitized. We have been digitizing. I had 3 college students over the summer who did a lot of scanning for me. Finding minutes, when people want to find something, they might say, oh, it was in the late 80s. Okay. So then it's like, any idea what year? Well, I don't really know. Somewhere later in the 80s. Do you know if it was the summer or the winter? Because it's all paper. So digitizing that and then OCRing it so it's searchable, text searchable, was a huge project. And the girls that worked in the office this summer were able to, I think they got all of the village board minutes, which are the most important. Wow, I jumped. So these are just kind of an idea of some of the services that we offer. We're obviously the main point of contact. When you call the 3440 number, you get the village office. Codes has its own office, police department has, phone number, police department has its own phone number, but we're kind of the first point of contact. And then we'll take a message, we triage basically. Depending on the situation, we'll take a message and send it over to Tom or Kaz, the deputy director of municipal operations, or even just one of us within the office if the state calls. You know, they need to talk to Carrie and she's not in. Residents call us for anything, from squirrels on their windowsills to ducks in the sewer, which Seth and I think it was Keith went and pulled ducks out of the sewer on the street a few years ago. I have a great picture of that I wish I had thought of because I would have shared it. You had to take the cover off, I think, and scoop the ducks out of the sewer. So all sorts of random things. Calling us saying, I've been on hold for 15 minutes in a whole different organization. I don't know how to help them with that, but those are the kind of calls that come in. So basically the first line of contact. And I just wanted to put up here, just again, police, fire, ambulance, call 911. We do get calls for the police. And we've been trained recently, probably most recently, not to try to find the police officer on duty, but to recommend the person who calls, call 911. It's okay. And I grew up thinking 911 was for emergency only. I would never dream to call 911. Nothing could possibly be that much of an emergency for me to have to call. But I have learned, these guys have trained me pretty well, that I should call. Just say it's a non-emergency call. Obviously, we do utility billing. We work closely with the electric and water departments to make sure that we're getting as accurate reads as we can, so that the bills are accurate. They do meter change-outs when they need to, and we work on solving problems when there's problems too with the billing system. And then accepting those payments, which come in fast and furious this week since they're due on the 15th. Dealing with when people move in, when they move out, anything that has to do with utility billing, you start with the village office, and you'll hit Laura Mills first. Laura does cemetery plots, so if you have to buy a plot, you would be talking to her. She understands the cemetery, she does the paperwork for the deeds, and then she tracks it all. And then Eric and the DPW talk to Laura if they need to do a burial up there, to do the scheduling, to work and interface basically with the funeral homes to make sure that things go as they need to. And then just, some little things, handicap parking permits, FOIL requests. Just a reminder, if you ever want to submit a FOIL, it's for a record. We're specifically asking for a public record that we can give you. We don't make them up. It's not just like a Q&A, it's for a record. And I bring this up because obviously it's something that has happened. People, start asking for things that don't exist in records. They're not something that can be shareable. And then just the last thing that I have on here is internal staff support. I have a revolving door often from day to day. People need to come to us for all sorts of things. So we support our staff too. So that's all I have. Patrick? Thank you. Come on up.
Deputy Code Enforcement Officer. John Crump is the current Code Enforcement Officer. He plans on working 2 to 3 more years, a little gray there. Him and Ian Carroll are currently at their refresher course training in Rochester, so you get the new guy tonight. I've been with the department for about 2 months now. So, technical questions, probably not going to be too good at answering those for you, Brady, just yet. But I can say that in taking the job, I really am starting to appreciate municipal work in general. But, in the codes office, it's much more legal than I thought it was going to be. That, someone wants to put in a new garage, the amount of back and forth with the town and how big it's got to be and your lot coverage and does it fit in with the neighborhood and just anything you can think of has to be considered before we can write approved on your permit. So I appreciate it a lot more, especially in the village here, where we really are kind of a stopgap so that everything looks nice. It makes you appreciate, people want to live here because of how it looks. And when someone wants to build something that doesn't look right, you can appreciate it in the long run, why we're not allowing certain things. Okay. So, in the codes office, obviously you want to build something, you need to obtain a building permit. That is all online now. There's no more coming to the office and filling out a paper permit. It's all through the Village of Skaneateles website. If you can't find it, you can call us and we will direct you to it. If you can't figure out how to fill it out, you can come into the office. We have a computer and we will take you through the steps to fill it out. Obviously, once your project is up and running, we will come out to the site for inspections, like grading inspections, installations inspections. However, we do not do plumbing or electrical. The state handles those. Usually, whoever your contractor is would call, they obviously have steps in a building process. You're building a house. Okay, plumbing's going in. The plumber will come in. They'll do a rough inspection, the drainage, that kind of stuff, the water pipes. They'll call for an inspection and so on. Once we review your project, if we feel that it needs to go to the planning board because it's something, outside of the norm or it's something very big, we will send it on to the planning board so they will review it and determine if, basically is approvable for the village. If you wanted to add more building, to your property, it would go to the zoning board because you need to be applying for variances for lot coverage, that kind of stuff. If you are in a historic district of the town, which isn't too big, but and you wanted to make some construction changes, whatever, it would go on to the historical planning board, and they would determine, if whatever you plan on doing was approved. Then there's code compliance inspections that we go through. Code violation inspections, such as if your building is in disrepair and we are getting calls from your neighbors being like, hey, this person's roof has a hole in it, they haven't adjusted, they haven't fixed it, maybe they're not there all winter, we would get a call about that. And then of course we do fire and safety inspections. Those are, depending on the building, 1 to 3 every 3 years. So when you apply for a building or zoning permit, we would need a survey, proposed work, the cost estimate, the contractors, contact information, proof of insurance, quite a bit of information before we can even proceed to even review it. Once that is done, we would send it on to the planning board and the zoning board. Like I said, the zoning board is for the variance. Again, the historical landmark. But all of this, again, is all done online. We're done having lots of paper files. Those days are done. It's time to update. Jumps ahead quick. Sorry about that. Okay, this is basically a step-by-step for a process of review. Basically, you submit an application for a permit for some sort of construction project. We'll receive it, we'll stamp it. We'll basically just quickly review it to make sure everything that we need is in there. If you don't, obviously we're going to come back to you and ask for certain things that are missing. Then myself and John will review it for compliance and accuracy. If it's not, you're going to get a letter back saying, this is why it didn't get approved. We need X, Y, and Z from you. If it did get approved, you'll get a determination letter citing any code sections and any items that need to be added. If you agree with our determination, they get referred by the clerk to the boards for a normal review. Basically, the planning board would say, like, yes, this looks great, start the project. If not, it would go to the zoning board of appeals. But again, if you get into something big enough like that, the typical turnaround is like 3 weeks. But I will say it's the summertime, and it's not the summer, but the summer is coming, so the amount of projects that are flowing into the codes office are rapidly increasing. So be ready for so it's a longer wait time than normal. Again, the application system, as you can see, is in the citizen portal, as it's called. But we certainly will be happy to help you fill it out if you have any questions. But it's pretty easy. It's like a checklist. The contacts for our office, obviously John Crump is the code enforcement officer. Ian is the director of planning and development, and he has quite a bit of code enforcement knowledge. So, he's helpful. Myself, and then Megan Hinna. Megan's great. She's our clerk. Answers the phone a lot. Very helpful. And Rob, her husband, is the fire inspector, but he's not going to do anything with codes. There is an online code library, so if you have questions about something very particular, you can go to the village website. It is on there. It's a little confusing because it's fairly legal, jargon-based, but it's all there. And again, we can help you through that. We do have a codes policy document on the website. And if you were interested in a neighbor doing a project, but you missed their zoning board, planning board meeting, like you couldn't go to it, those minutes are always on the website within a short amount of time. They legally have to be posted to the village website so that you can go back and read.
It has an engine and a squad up there. We have another station, Station 3, that's up in Main Dana. It's right near the Main Dana Inn on 359. That has an engine up there along with our parade truck. Our fire district is 34 and a half square miles. Unfortunately, our district is dissected by Skaneateles Lake. So that's why we have a station on the east side, that's why we have a station on the west side. We're 92 members strong, we're about 50 active. This past Monday night, we took on 3 new members, all under the age of 24. We're going to take on a new member next month, we're going to take on another new member in May. So they'll be voted on, one in April, one again in May. All right? Skaneateles Lake, we are the only water rescue on Skaneateles Lake. We cover Onondaga, Cayuga County, and Cortland County. We have 2 boats. We have a Sea-Doo, and we have a 1990 boat. We're very, very fortunate that last year we had some good grant writers. Sometime in the middle of April, first part of May, we're going to get a $600,000 fire boat. It's going to have a 1,500-gallon fire pump on it. It's going to have a floor, which is, we can see at nighttime when we're out on the lake in bad weather, things like that. It's going to have a cab, it's going to have heat, air conditioning. I tell people we'll be able to pull up on shore, just like in World War II when they went to the beaches in Normandy. The front end of the boat will come down, and we can have either a Sea-Doo or an ATV in that boat, and we'll go right off and go. For those that don't know, up at Lord's Camp, there's 4 houses to the south of Lord's Camp that you can only get to by boat. So we're kind of on automatic, let's back from Board Island to go up and do that stuff. All right? So some of the services that you saw we do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all hours. 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. We could be out on a call for half an hour, we could be out on a call for 8 or 9 hours. All right? We're already into the month of March. We've already answered 85 calls for the fire department. All right, so we answer everything. Between a cat getting stuck inside a person's wall, to getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to go to a senior citizen's house, to turn their furnace on, because their furnace didn't work. So that's all the types of calls we do. We have guys in this fire department that are certified as EMTs. We have people that are certified as ice rescue techs. First time in probably 15 years that we've gone on 2 ice rescues this year. 1 to save 3 people, and 1 to save a dog. We just did that last month. All right. We already had a couple house fires. We had 2 house fires within 24 hours, 16 hours, 14 hours, yeah. So those are the services we do. All right. We don't get paid for it. We get an incentive program. If we make 50 points every year, we get $20 a month when we turn age 65. All right. We take great pride. You know, like Scott talked about, we're always looking for grants, things like that. Just so you know, all the apparatus that we have out there on the floor right now are all over $1 million. All our engines are $1 million. Our ladder truck that we're going to be looking to replace in the next 5 years is $2.2 million right now, and we won't see that truck for another 3 to 4 years. All right, so that's why fundraising is very, very important to us. Labor Day and high stakes raffle, we use that money to help offset the taxpayers' money. We put that towards apparatus. All right. Exterior firefighter. To put gear on an exterior firefighter, it's $4,600 for helmet, coat, everything else like that. If we're going to do an interior firefighter, it's $5,600. Every 10 years, no matter how many fires we go to with this turnout gear, we have to replace it. That's what NFPA says. All right. We have firefighters that are fire police guys that stand outside in all kinds of weather, directing people to different places. And you'll be surprised how many people in this community that I know, and that George Battle knows, doesn't know how to get around the community if we're blocking off roads. All right? So that's pretty much what we do. All right? Everybody wears different hats. You know, we have EMTs, like I said, we have ice rescue techs, we have drivers, we have interior firefighters, we have some firemen right here. One here was my chief when I first started, way back when, Gary Chappelle. We have Kathy Murphy here, who just retired from the Onondaga County 911 Center. She was a fire dispatcher. We got Big Murph here, who's kind of out of commission here for a few more months, but he used to work for the highway department down in Tully. He's one of our drivers that lives up on the east side. And of course, Eric, he works for the DPW. He's a first assistant chief. We've got the chief's aide back there, his son, Thomas Sell. He's one of our firefighters. And we got George Battle. How many years, George? 60. 60 years in the fire department, all right? So that's the Skaneateles Fire Department. We're all volunteers. We put a lot of time in. Monday nights, first Monday of the month, is our monthly meeting night. The other Monday nights, we do training. And then we're always here sometime during the daytime doing other things. So, that's really all I have to say, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Steve. That's how we spend your tax dollars for all of these services. And I personally think it's a lot, and I think we do a great job of keeping you safe and keeping the village looking good. And I have said this many times, but I think I may be the luckiest mayor ever because of all the great people that work in the village and all the great people who live in the village. So, any questions? Bob?
Tom, I have a question. In the world of public works, when you say road maintenance, what's included in that? Is it just maintaining the quality of the surface?
Drainage, catch basins, making sure that water isn't getting underneath and
But not snow removal?
snow removal is part of that.
It is?
Yep,
Okay.
all of that.
Okay.
We have a lot of work to do on evaluating our roads, seeing what's happening underneath them, and making decisions on, is it a mill and pave to keep it in maintenance? Do we go out there and change some of the catch basins, raise them to grade, then pave everything over? Is the sub-base compromised? And then you can tell a lot from the way it's cracking and the way that the blacktop's failing.
I have a follow-up question. The New York State Controller came out with a report about 2 years ago, and they did one about 20 years before that, and they said that for villages in New York State, I don't know what they looked at to produce this number, that the average per lane maintenance cost per year for villages was $28,000 per year.
We have 10 center line. We have 10 center line. You said per lane?
Per lane miles.
So 10 center line miles would make that 20 miles? And you said it was 280,000?
No, they're saying if you take one lane, 1 mile long,
It's 280,000
it's
dollars?
$28,000.
28,000.
Per year. And that, to me, it's like, what's behind that number? I just wondered,
So the super.
given what your budget is to maintain the roads in the village, I'm assuming it's nowhere near that.
Way more than that. I mean, we have two main programs that we use for our pavement, is the Village Improvement Fund and the CHIPS funding. The local Highway Superintendent Association goes to Albany every year and begs for more money. It's common for 30, 40 people to go to Albany and ask to increase that number.
Do you get any funding from the state?
It's
Maintain
through the
village.
it's the CHIPS funding.
Okay. So it isn't just our village
We have
taxes that pay for it?
no,
There
we
is-
have CHIPS funding that helps with
Okay.
that.
How much?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So
No,
366,000
that's
is the
VIP.
VIP.
Right, and that's not just for roads.
Yeah, that's used for a lot of different things. It's
That's the
written a little
sales
loose.
tax that goes to the county, and that's how the county distributes its sales tax to the various municipalities in the county. So that's a portion of that. CHIPS is, we're over 100,000, but we've been saving it up for a couple of years, so
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure where we are with
It-
that.
It's broken down in 4 different areas, and I want to say it's under 100,000 in each area.
I think
We've
so.
been saving it for our work we're doing across the street on Onondaga Street. I did it again, Eric!
Orchard.
Orchard. Right, never get that street right.
Orchard is gonna be redone this summer. I don't know if you know that. They're getting the sidewalk. The road is gonna be narrow to make room for the sidewalk. The sidewalk will be on the east side, and because we're narrowing the road, we don't have to move any utility poles or cut down any trees, and that's a road that has needed a sidewalk for decades, and I'm very happy that we're gonna be able to do it. Is it a 50/50? I don't remember what that is.
Yes. It's a
50/50.
DEC, walkability
Yeah.
grant
Grant.
through the DEC, and it's 50/50. So we're using our sidewalk funding and our CHIPS funding to do the
To
sidewalk
To
and.
take care of
and
our 50%.
it's right. Current
It's gonna be a
estimates
great
around,
project.
I think the current estimate's around $800,000. It'd be a little bit lower. We're reviewing those drawings right now. But we have a lot more work. We've got, you just drive around, we've got potholes that we have to take care of, streets that are starting to open up at the center line, differential settlement where there's trenches that were done. We've got a lot of work to do. And we're not alone. Lots of villages and communities need more funding than they get to do the paving. And you can't just mill and pave everything, because it's just not going to work. Matter of fact, I was driving down Lakeview Circle today, which we milled 2 years ago, and it's already starting to crack, which is disappointing to see.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the warm weather.